Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday morning practice. We'll be spending the next hour and a half together, what I call the boot camp. Idea is that we'll meet once a week to kind of re-up your commitment to your own spiritual and physical practice, and with the idea that the rest of the week you'll be practicing on your own. It's also a sanctuary for those of us who are on this side of the divide, those of us who value diversity and equality and opportunity. But in any case, let's get started. We alternate, for those of you who are new here, we alternate every week. And last week we were doing the breathing exercise. And then this week we'll be doing a very traditional Qigong exercise called YJJ, Yi Jing Jing. And in a way, you can understand it in terms of yin and yang. And so the word yin and yang means under the sun or away from the sun. All right. It's really coming from the evolution of a species. I'll be talking about that quite a bit in today's Dharma talk. And so just keep understanding that today is more about yang, the energetic energy. And so, in order to prepare yourself for the exercise towards the end of the class, we need to learn how to do what I would call the chi therapy, massage, tapping, acupressure, and so forth, with the idea that we will clear these tributaries, we clear these secondary channels, and get ready for the exercise. So, at the same time, I want you to understand that this is not just a physical exercise, it's also a mental exercise. It's learning how to anchor our mind on our body and on our breath. And so let's focus now on the body. Let's focus on the very bottom of our spine. And I want you to walk up that spine one step at a time, one joint at a time towards the top of the head. And as you attention move from the bottom of your spine to the top of your head, I want you to stretch that spine. Now, this spine is very important. I talk about the secondary channels, and the spine is one of the 8 primary channels. Here, we mainly talk about the 2 primary channels. One is in the back, which coincides with the spine. So it's very important that as we practice our yang energy, our energetic energy, that we focus on the spine and we stretch the spine towards the ceiling. Stretching the spine actually is important. Um, you notice that the dog says that the yoga practice has one called the down dog. It's all about stretching the spine. Now, after you stretch your spine, I want you to focus now on the top of your shoulder. I want you to lift up that shoulder, lift up the entire upper torso, lift up the shoulder as if you're bringing the shoulder to your ears. Then I want you to take the entire upper torso and lean back. And as you lean back, I want you to observe the lightness in your body as you do that, because what you're doing now is you're decreasing the dependency on the muscle and basically aligning the spine with the weight of the upper torso. Then I want you to relax that shoulder and then also relax the spine. Now that you sit properly, we can start to do our finger exercise. We'll start with the fingers and with the toes. Let's bring out our left hand, focus on the fingers. Let's bring out our right thumb. And then I just want you to gently massage the tip of the fingers. So when we talk about the yin and yang energies, the yang energies are the energies that travels from inside the body out to the universe. And then the yin energies is what's returning. And so as they move into the body, they actually intercept at the fingertips. So the fingertips are kind of the um, almost like the return of the energy. So now I want you to focus on the right hand and once again massage the tip of the fingers. Now I want you to come back to the left hand and identify the fingers and as well as the joints. Then I want you to take the right thumb and just massage very gently the joints, massage the front, the left, back to the front, and then to the right. And then after you finish one, you go to another one. And all this time, try to anchor your mind on your body, anchor your mind on the joints, and focus on the observation of the change in your body, practicing both physically and mentally, one finger at a time, one joint at a time. So the Chinese believe that the fingers are not just your digits; they are in fact represents the internal energies. And so in the past, now we focus on the right hand, same thing. And they identified the five fingers as the five elements: the water, the vegetation, the fire, the soil, and the mineral. And corresponding to those five elements is actually the internal organs: the kidney, the liver, the heart, the splint, and then finally the lung. So those are what we call the treasure organs. And so they believe that working on the fingers actually balances energy internally. Now that we're finished with the palm of a hand, let's go to the back of a hand. And this time again, we start with the tip, but instead of the fingernail, we actually take our index finger and our thumb and just kind of gently squeeze the two corners of the fingernails. You would find that if you have any curiosity in terms of how um, these what we call the meridian works, you should just simply just Google it. And I think Martha had a really good website too that allows people to understand these energy points. And last week I talked about how important it is to be open, right? As we age, we talk about the importance of nutrition, exercise, and unwinding, restorative resting, and then finally open. And so it's very important to be open to curiosity, right? So here we talk about physical health, mental health, and then ultimately spiritual health. And in the mental health, it's very easy for people to fall into depression, or the other extreme is anxiety, or even both. Right? You can flip flop between the both. And one of the things that you find is that small kids, it's very rare that they would have depression. They would often have anxiety, but not depression. And that's because they're very, very curious about the world. And as we age, we lose that curiosity, and that leads to very easily lead to depression. You're hiding yourself in your own skin. And so I think one of the key to mindful aging is really maintain that curiosity. And so here, I don't just do the exercise, I share with you what I know. That's our my own curiosity, and I hope that you catch on to that. All right, so now we're done with the fingertips. I believe I did this hand too. And then now we're going to continue to work on the joints. Again, one joint at a time, one finger at a time. All this time, understanding that the importance of the first step towards our spiritual practice is called mindfulness. And by mindfulness, it's a very simple meaning. I remember we talked about mindfulness. The word is called sati, which means remembrance. In other words, always find an anchor for your mind. Just like if you were in a storm, you need to put an anchor. Otherwise, the storm will overcome you, whether that is a storm of the weather or political storm. Similar, very similar. Okay, so now we're done with the with the fingers. So let's continue to work on the back of the hand. Let's fold up and make a fist, a very soft fist. You feel the knuckles. Let's take our right thumb, use the edge, and just kind of fit that between the knuckles and give it a massage. Okay, so here we don't actually massage muscle or tendon. What we do is we massage a connected tissue. So um, a very common word that I use. And then now you want to massage the back of the hand in between the bones, okay, in between the fingers. And then when these fingers join together at the wrist, you will feel the two dimple. So I want you to do some acupressure here. So one of the words that people use is called fascia. You can actually find people who focus on fascia massage. Fascia comes from the word myofascia. It's really more about the muscle, in between the muscle, the connective tissue of the muscle. The Chinese have a much deeper understanding of that. All of our body are connected somehow, right? All the cells have membranes, everything. All right, so now we're done with the fingers. Let's work on the thumb. So the thumb really needs a thorough massage and joints, and then also in between. And one of the important part of the thumb is actually right here, right? Right here. And so imagine your thumb is like a drumstick. It's right here. So let's take a knuckle, form and then put some pressure on that. Okay, put some pressure on that. Okay, you feel a little bit of numbness, sore, and that means that you're at the right place. You're at the right place. All right. So now we work on the right hand. Similarly, fit our left thumb in between the knuckles, and then in between the fingers in the back of the hand, at the wrist, back to the thumb, and then put a little bit of awkward pressure here using a knuckle. Okay. Now this energy point, this thumb is the beginning of energy line that we name after the lung. Okay. Now there's another two energy lines inside the palm. One is we name after the mind or the heart, same word, but it's really more the mental side. Whereas the middle one is the pericardium, which is really the physical heart. And there's a very important energy point right in the middle of your palm. So if you follow in between the middle fingers and the index fingers, you come to the center of your palm. And so you take your knuckle and then you work on that. So this is the center of the healing hand. This is where your energy. This is the only place in your body where you give out energy. And then over right here, same thing. Now I want you to take the two palm, put it together, and imagine that there's a circle around that, and then you kind of rub your hand. Then I want you to put the palm on top of the back of the hand, kind of touch the fingers, and then just give it a massage like that. Massaging both the palm and the back of the hand as well as in between the fingers. Similarly on the other side. Okay, so now we're gonna do some finger exercise. I think Martha, if you have a chance, can you share that website that you did last time? All right. So now we're going to do some finger exercise. So the next one is very simple, but it's a very effective. It's actually brand and the qi gong. Qi means energy. Gong means the practice, and it's something that people believe that can provide some therapy after a mild stroke, or to put it another way, to prevent a stroke. Very simple. And the whole idea is that your fingers represents the five elements, the five what I, and then at the same time it reflects the internal organs, and so it's really a way of balancing the energy within you. And it's a very simple one, but whenever you do these exercise, you always want to come back to your body first, right? Your body is the conduit for the energy, for the life energy. Now I want you to focus once again on the bottom of your spine. Stretch the spine, lift up your shoulder, lean back, open the shoulder, and then relax. Now I want you to take your hand and your thumb and the index fingers. All right, you put that together, and all you have to do is squeeze as hard as you can. Now to the middle finger and squeeze as hard as you can. Then to the index finger and squeeze as hard as you can. And then to the little finger and squeeze as hard as you can. Then you come back and then you focus, you put the thumb in the middle of the index finger. And once again, as you do that, make sure that you're anchoring your mind on your hand. Okay. So don't let your mind drift away. Get ready? Squeeze as hard as you can. Squeeze as hard as you can. Squeeze as hard as you can. And then squeeze as hard as you can. All right. Okay. So that's the exercise. That's it. Right. So this is something that you can do easily, right, on your own. Now we come to the second exercise. The second exercise is still with the fingers, but this time we focus a little bit more on the brain. And the Chinese believe that the fingers are the one that actually excite your brain, right? Excite your brain. I talk about how in the evolution, it was the fingers that started the evolution, right? Whereas with the dog, it was the smell that started the evolution. And so it was after we knew how to break a branch and hold it and use it as a defensive weapon that we started to walk down the trees from the trees. So the fingers and the brain is very important, but more also is really the separation of the left brain from the right brain. So I talk about connective tissue. The body is full of negative tissue. If it wasn't for the connective tissue, we wouldn't exist, right? And so, for example, when the baby was born, they don't know how to walk. Well, that's not because they don't have muscle. It's because their connective tissue is not quite fully developed yet. And so coming back to our body, the two connective tissue are very important to our practice. One is the diaphragm, and the other one is the membrane between the left brain and the right brain. And I believe that from my personal experience, taking care of my father who suffered from dementia, the first sign of dementia is actually the loss of balance. The loss of balance, the loss of coordination of their fingers. So this exercise is very important for that. But once again, let's come back to the body. Let's straighten up our spine, right? The spine is where all the yang energy travels. So we need to do that. Stretch. Then lift up the shoulder, lean back, open the shoulder, relax the spine. All right. Now we're going to do one hand at a time. So now let's lift up our right hand, which means that we're using our left brain. And then we're gonna move one finger at a time to make sure that we maintain the coordination. Let's fold in our thumb, bring down two fingers, then the index, now the little fingers. Let's bring down our right hand, lift up our left hand using the right side of our brain. Similarly, the thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Bring it down, stretch your spine, bring it back up, and squeeze as hard as we can. Bring down the right hand, bring down the left hand, leaving the right hand. We're going to open a fist in the reverse order, one finger at a time. Little finger, index, two finger, thumb. Bring it back down. Now the left, little finger, index, two fingers, and the thumb. Then bring up two hands, and then we're going to stretch as hard as we can. Bring it back down. That's the first one. Now the second one, we're going to speed up a little bit. Right hand, thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Left hand, thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Bring it back down. Bring it back up. Squeeze as hard as we can, leaving the right hand, little fingers, index, two, and then the thumb. Left hand, little finger, index, two, and then the thumb. Bring it back up and stretch as hard as we can. One last time. Thumb, two fingers, little index, little fingers. Left hand, thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Squeeze as hard as we can. Right hand, little fingers, index, two fingers, and the thumb. Left hand, same thing. Index, little fingers, index, two fingers, and the thumb. And then stretch as hard as we can. Bring it back down. Stretch your spine. Lift up the shoulder. Lean back. Relax the shoulder. All right. Okay. So there's a variety of these exercises, basically separating the left from the right and then separating the fingers one at a time. There's a whole variety of these. All right. So now we're going to continue. Let's put our palms together and then put the fingers together. Let's lift up our elbows, sit up straight. And so the arms are now horizontal. And then I want you to push the palm together, push it as hard as you can, and then bring it down. Feel the stress on your wrists, and then relax. Okay, so we went from massage, acupressure, And now we go to tapping. All these works is to excite the channel, right? The channel is where the live energy passes through. And it's important that understand that we use the word live energy as opposed to the energy that comes from the food that you consume. The North Indians, the yogis, actually believe that life energy comes from the universe. And the channels that they pass through are called nadis. And where these channels cross, they're called the chakras. Okay? So everybody understand the chakras. And last time I talked about, or you did time last time, talk about that they actually believe that there is 108 chakras. Only 7 of them are inside our body. All right. So these nadis, there are 72,000 nadis that are all channels in the body, and so that's what you get. What gives you health, right? I mean, um, there are a lot of movies and so forth, folklore about zombies. I don't know if zombies exist, but if they exist, I can be sure that they have life. I just don't think that they have life energy. And that's the difference. And the Chinese believe that if you're a part of the universe and you let these energy flow freely inside you through these channels, then you would have health, and you would have health in the sense that your body will not inflame. Okay, so it is that simple. And I'm going to spend today's Dhamma talk more about inflammation and aging, and how important that is that we understand that, and how important is that we understand both that and the Western medical science. Right? We're not rejecting anything here. We're becoming our own prime contractor for health. We need to take responsibility for our health and not give it to the doctor, because the doctor don't take care of your health. They only take care of your sickness. All right. So let's continue and do some more tapping. Starting to do some tapping. Let's focus on the posture again. Sit up straight and then relax. Let's bring out our two hands. Put the tip of the hands together. Now, it's very important that when you do the tapping, that you remind yourself that it is as if you're playing a musical instrument. And when you're playing a musical instrument, you have to be mindful, right? You have to anchor your mind on the instrument. So let's anchor our mind on a hand, and let's continue and mindfulness. And we're going to tap this 30 times and try to maintain focus. Okay, get ready, go. Okay, now we're going to cross the fingers and we're going to tap that 30 times as well. Get ready, go. Okay, now we're going to tap the inside of a palm. Inside of the palm means yin, right? Outside is yang, facing the sun, away from the sun. All right, so again, once again, there's three energy lines. There's the heart, or more like the mind, and then there's a pericardium, which is more like the heart, okay? And then there's the lung. Now, these are abstractions, okay? They don't actually represent only the organ. They actually represents energy within you. So it's more accurate to say that this represents the fire, so is this one, but this one represents the mineral. That's actually more accurate. All right, so let's first focus on the little fingers as they comes down. There is a kind of a part here is nice and soft. And so let's put that together and we form a V with a palm and tap that 30 times. Once again, focus, get ready, go. And now we'll go the other way. And then the thumb coming back to here where we'll do it using a knuckle. Let's put that together, forming a V, palm facing down 30 times. Okay, now this is the heart or the mind, and then this is the yin side. On the yang side, then it becomes the intestine, the small intestines. On this side, it becomes the large intestine. It's very interesting that the small intestines is associated with the mind, the small as intestines. So you can imagine how important it is to have good probiotic health, how important it is to maintain the health within your intestines. And there's some study that says that actually digestive problem is associated with Parkinson, right? It's very important. This is actually called the second brain. This is this small intestine is the second brain. So I talk about the dogs I often have in my house. I have two dogs now, and they're going to be with us for another 5 weeks. So a total of 2 months. Wow, it's a big commitment. But then the owner, who are my wife's sister-in-law and brother, they have to go to Singapore to visit her family. So her Asian parents. So it becomes our responsibility, which is fine. Which is fine. We love to have them, but unfortunately, I mentioned that this time the big German Shepherd during the rain is very often happens with dogs. Is that during the rain they go out and they touch they eat something and then they have diarrhea. And then I noticed that after the big German Shepherd recover, and when I take him, he would often go to like a lamppost where the other dogs would urinate. And whereas before he would just go up and smell and as if he's communicating with the other dog. They don't go out for to do their business, you know that, right? They go out to communicate with the neighbors. So I noticed that after he's sick, he started to lick the lamppost as if he's trying to lick the residues of the urine from the other dogs. And then after he got well, he didn't do that anymore. And and then also he started to like to eat grass or other plants. And basically, it's his instinct to restore his probiotic health. And so, as a human, we don't go lick other people's urine, of course, but we have to be mindful of what we eat, right? We need to make sure that we have plenty of water soluble fiber. We have to make sure that try not to take antibiotics because that will kill everything, and make sure that you consume as little preservatives as possible. Right? Anything that has preservative, its job is to kill germs, so it will kill all the probiotics. Right? Anyway, so the Chinese actually understand the importance of the small intestine, the probiotic health with your mental state. So this energy line is on the outside of the little fingers, and there's one energy point right here. So if you take your left palm, you fold it, you see this line, it's just right there. So now you put that together, you fold your palm flat like this, you roll up your fingers, and I'm going to tap that 30 times. Okay, now we're going from the small intestine to the large intestine. Now, interestingly, the large intestine pairs with the lung. And so if you use the Western medical perspective, it makes no sense. It makes no sense that the lung, which is responsible for breathing, has to do with the large intestines, which is its only job is to prepare the waste, right? And but the Chinese, they believe that those two are mineral elements. That's what they believe. And uh, and so you will find that there's a lot of energy points that would help with constipation is actually on the lung side and not so much on the large intestine side. But anyway, this energy point here, I translate into merging valley. I'm sure there's a different translation. And mostly when you go to the website, they don't actually translate the name anyway. They will either give you the pronunciation or most likely they give you a number. So this would be L something, right? And LS, I mean, large intestine something. And so, but this energy point is a magical point. This energy point that will provide relief to pain. So if you have headache, you have neck pain, you have toothache, and all that, this one helps. And the way to identify this one is that if you take your thumb and your index fingers, you open it as if you're forming a valley, you see this ridge right here, Then you take your right thumb, you see this line right here, you put the line on top of the ridge, and then you just press down with the the tip of the finger, not with the fingernail. And you just press down, you feel a little bit of numbness and soreness, and you just hold that. Same thing on the other side, and you just hold that. Now, this energy point is actually very famous for lowering your blood pressure. Okay, so if you have high blood pressure, this is one of the four energy points that are good for that. One of the many, actually. All right, so now we're going to take this energy point called the small intestine energy point, put that on top, and we're going to tap that 30 times as well. And we're going to do the other side. Okay. All right. Now it's very important that when you do this exercise that you once again make sure that it's both physical and mental. And so make sure that your mind is focused. You actually do a meditation, just a different way. Okay. And one of the ways that you know that you're doing it right is to make sure that you have plenty of saliva, that you're doing self hydration. And so you notice that I could be here for 2 hours, including the Dhamma. I don't actually drink any water. In fact, I do the opposite. I have to keep up with the saliva and keep swallowing them and not choke on them. All right, so now we're getting ready for the next finger exercise. The next finger exercise basically allows energy to flow out, which is the action, and then at the same time allow the energy to come back, which is the um, reaction. And so now we're relying on this channel now on the inside as well as the outside. And so to clear the channel, we're going to do some scraping. And so last time someone used it, is that the same as guasa, right? Guasa means scrape until you get sand, which is not what we do. Okay, we're not going to go that deep. We're just going to very gently scrape and energize or excite the channel. And so keep in mind that the inside, you have three energy line. Outside, you have three energy line. The inside, once again, the middle one is the pericardium. And so this one is very important for your heart. Okay, very important heart. Starting with the center of your palm, go down to about where you wear your watch, 3 fingers, and then all the way to the elbow. All right. Now we take out our favorite scraping tool or whatever that is that you have, and using the tip of the fingers and kind of scrape the elbow, go down along the center where you would wear a watch, and then all the way to the wrist. Come back, all the way back. Okay, so that's the pericardium. Then you move up, and then you notice that the bone, on the inside the bone, once again, start with the elbow. And about 4 inches, there's an energy point here that is actually known to be good for relieving constipation. And then further down until you get to the wrist, come back to the elbow. So if you look up the energy point, it's about 4 fingers from the elbow. That's the energy point. Now we scrape the bone. Okay, don't be afraid to use the knuckle. And you say, well, but that hurts. Well, that's because your body's inflamed. And so it's a little bit different if you were just to work on the muscle, and because the muscle doesn't heal as easily. Whereas when you do this fascia massage, you're really clearing the channel to let the body heal itself. Okay, it's a very different concept. All right, so now we're on the outside of the bone. I already did that. And then let's do the middle one, which is called the triple warmer. And it's a mistranslation, basically. It means the word actually is an ancient word for membrane. So triple membrane means the entirety of your internals. Right? Triple membrane means that what's above the diaphragm, what's between the diaphragm and the belly button, and then what's below the belly. It's the entirety. All that is in here. So there's no Western equivalent to this. This is, and then you scrape the back of the hand, you scrape the fingers, scrape the thumb, back to the hand and straighten out. And then rotate the hands so you're on the outside of the bone. Now you're on top of the bone. You're on inside the bone. And then straighten up and then inside. And then finally, you get to the little finger. This is very important. This is for the mental state. There's a very important, very famous energy point here called, I wouldn't know how to translate it. Yeah. But anyway, this is a good one. Um, as we age, our mind is not as steady and our good quality of sleep deteriorates. We might be able to fall asleep when the body is tired, but then we wake up easily or we don't sleep as well. And that's back to last week when I talked about NEURO. R is for restorative sleep. So you don't just sleep to restore the body. You actually sleep to restore your mind as well. Okay, so it's very important to learn to improve the quality of your sleep. So now in the middle, so the trick is that you treat your sleep as a meditation, and as soon as you lie down, you focus on your breath and try not to have uh, too many thinking, too many thoughts. Okay, now move up slightly, and then the bone on the other side of the bone, the middle, which is the triple warmer, then the back of the hand, the fingers, the thumb, back of the hand, back to the middle of the hand, and then just rotate your hand. All right, in the middle. And so very often I would wake up, and it's annoying if I have to wake up in the middle of the night. I try to these days I go to bed around 10, maybe a little bit after 10. Sometimes I indulge myself when I sleep around 11, and I try to wake up at 6 o'clock when I'm ready for my morning class. Sometimes, if I have a good night's sleep, I might wake up at 5:30 or so and wait for the clock. But it's very annoying if I wake up in the middle of the night, like 2, 3 o'clock. So it takes a lot of effort for me to go back. But I always notice that if I wake up in the middle of the night, my hand is very warm. It's too warm, right? And that's because my carpal tunnel is acting on me. And so I would just take out my hand and just kind of scrape. It's usually this hand and scrape, and then just go back to sleep, right? You wake up for a reason, and often it's because your body's aching, right? Okay, so now we're getting ready for this exercise. And so let's stretch, always stretch your spine, always lift up your shoulder, always lean back, open that shoulder, relax the shoulder, relax the spine. Now we take our hand, we point the fingers towards the camera, we lock our elbow, we roll up the four fingers, we hold it with the thumb. The four fingers are the spring. Let's wind up the spring. The thumb is what's holding it down. So wind up the four fingers, but hold it down with your thumb and get ready. One, as hard as you can. Two, focus on your fingers. Three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, and 10. Okay, so this one is very good for carpal tunnel. The next one is very good for frozen shoulder. So let's lift up our elbow, open our elbow, and then relax. Okay, there is actually one more trick, which is to try to learn to rotate your hip forward as you lean back to put some pressure on the kidneys. All right, so let's try to do that. Let's bring up, let's stretch your spine, and let's lean forward first. And then we lean back. As we lean back, we lock a hip in place and feel the pressure on two sides where the kidneys are. Then we lift up our shoulder, open the shoulder, and relax. All right. Okay. So now, when you open your shoulder, this energy point here called the gate to the cloud is part of the lung energy line. It's actually the second to the last one before it enters into your body. And then we bring out our magical fingers. We put our thumb and the middle fingers together, squeeze it slightly. Then we take the other three, we stretch it out. We call this the lotus hand. Let's put the lotus hand on in front of the body. Let's again open the shoulder. If you can, push the hip forward and lean back. Get ready. Back of the hand facing the camera. One, back of the hand facing the camera. Back to the lotus hand, middle fingers and the thumb pushing, and then the three fingers stretching. Put that on the gate of the cloud. Once again, open the shoulder, push the hip forward. Get ready. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, all right. So one of the key features of our morning exercise is that you actually get a lot of energy after you do it, but it doesn't take a lot of energy. Okay, that's the difference, right? You don't need to run around the block, and it's really clearing the channel and let the energy flow freely within you. Now, we start with the fingers, we work up to our shoulder, and let's continue to walk to the top of the head. And where it passes is right around the neck. This is very actually a very important energy point. It's what I call the, the pound of wind. And it's part of the energy line that we name after the gallbladder. And wind in this case means nerve, right? It's whatever that we cannot see, we cannot taste, we cannot smell, we can only feel. And so this energy line actually goes up um, into above the ear and towards the eye. So this energy point is very important for um, your brain, your ears, and your eye. Right. So so I want you to put your hands together. Put that in the back of your hand. You sit up straight like this, looking straight ahead. Okay, don't. And then you take your thumb and just feel. It's very simple. And now you push down with the finger, not with the fingernail. Okay. Now you push down, then you lean back with your neck, provide some counter pressure, and you hold it as if you're squeezing a water hose. And then you relax. Now you take your right hand, you put that on the left side, you push down with the four fingers. Once again, lean back with your neck. Then you grab the left side of your neck and you pull it towards the right, as if you're opening a channel. Same thing on the other side, and you pull it to the left. Then you take your right hand, you put that below the ears, and then you massage. And then you say to yourself, relax. And then relax. And then same thing on your side, and then you say relax, relax, and then relax. Now you take the right hand, you put that on top of the ear, and you say relax, whispering to yourself, relax, and then relax. And then the other side, relax, relax, and then relax. Now you take your thumb, you put that on both sides, and then you do a little bit of massage like this. Okay, so there's another way you could practice, which is you don't do any of the things that I just showed you, but all you do is use the massage, these two energy points. That works too. That would help with your eyes, with your ear, as well as your thinking mind, your brain. Okay, all right. So now we move the thumb towards the ear in the middle and on top of the bone, and you press, and then you massage. You feel a little bit of stress there, right? So these two energy points actually helps with your sleep. Whereas these two energy points are good, are important for also your high blood pressure. So now you put the thumb on one side, and now you squeeze your neck like this. Then you go down in the middle and you squeeze. And that these four energy points, this one and this one together, is very important for your high blood pressure. And then you go down and you kind of bring those two parts together. Okay. All right. So that's important. And then now to the shoulder, massage the shoulder, go down, massage, and then just kind of massage your shoulder like this. Relax, whisper to yourself, relax. And then same thing on the right hand side, massage the top, massage the back, and then just massage. All right. So I talk about high blood pressure here a lot because these last two, maybe even 3 years since my dad passed away, I start to have more time, start to shift the focus to my mom. And um, she has had high blood pressure for the longest time, taking high blood pressure medicine to bring down the numbers. And about 2.5 years ago, she developed this cough. And so I look up, do some search, um, and find out that this medicine that she was taking for high blood pressure is known to have a side effect, which is that it contracts your passage here, your throat passage. And for Asian women, it's very common. And so as it contracts the throat, it creates a coughing condition. So she was coughing like crazy. And so we had to experiment with other high blood pressure medicine. But I always hated it how Western doctors would treat high blood pressure as a disease. And all they wanted to do is to give you high blood pressure to bring down the numbers. I don't believe in that. I believe that high blood pressure is one of the serious problem, but it's only a symptom, and you need to really figure out what the problem is. And so, in any case, um, I keep looking for the right doctor. And eventually, we found a group, a group that belongs to a medical center in San Francisco. Um, that is not your normal cardiology group. It's actually the cardiology, the heart failure group, and they discovered that she actually has a valve on the left side that doesn't close properly, and that's why it's causing high blood pressure. So she started to have heart failure, failure stage heart failure. And so that tells you how important high blood pressure is. That initially she probably had a healthy heart, and her high blood pressure really comes from her anxiety, right? And but rather than fixing the root of the problem, all they wanted to do is give you um, medicine. And when that medicine failed, then your heart start to pump um, a lot harder, and then eventually it will start to fail, right? So it's very important, very important. Don't treat it as a disease. But then on the other hand, there's no place, there's no one will listen to you. No doctor will listen to you. That's the problem. All right. So now we're going to work on the front for the face. Okay. So let's do some facial massage by focusing on this energy point once again. Let's put a knuckle in here, make it work, and then hold the other side. Let's put the hand together, rub in a circle. We're doing some self heating now. And let's open a palm, form an empty hand, put that in front of an eye, and then open an eye. And we should, if you see any light, that means that you need to adjust your fingers and your palm so you have no light coming in. Okay. All right. So now get ready. Go. First time, put that in front of you. Open your eye. Second time, your eye actually adjusts. You feel some warmth. Third time, and then feel some warmth. Now massage the face, massage the side of the face. Put the center of your palm on the temple and massage your temple. And then put your fingers in between the eyebrow and just massage it. You feel a lot of stress here. Okay, so it's very important that you learn how to massage here. We keep a lot of stress on the eyebrow, in between the eyebrow. Then we massage the forehead. Then you notice that the hair comes into a triangle, and right there you massage. Then you massage the brain, the part of the brain that is responsible for all your cognitive function. And then you move up slightly to the back. This is the part that is responsible for your memory. Then you go further down, then that's the part that is your motor function. Then your neck, then you're above the ears, back to the face, and then back to the fingers. Okay, so now we're going to learn how to massage our eyes. Okay, it's very important that as we age, that we maintain the health of our eye. And so notice that the eyes right here, eyebrows right here. So there's three energy on top on the eyebrow. There's three energies right there. First, we're going to put that in the beginning of the eyebrow. We take the index finger, we put it right there. Let's sit up straight. Okay, look straight to the camera. And then now close your eye and put some pressure. Use your neck as well. Maintain the pressure. You feel the numbness. And then we put the fingers in between the eyebrow and we just massage the eyebrow, all three energy points. We're going to massage like you're squeezing toothpaste right here. All right. Now we're going to work on the bottom. And then first we take the index finger, put that in the corner of the eye and put some pressure there. Then we're going to take a thumb and start here. And then we're going to massage all the way to the tail of the eye, under the eye bag, the other side, massage. Okay, so instead of doing massage, you could also just put your finger here and just kind of go in circle 30 times, 30 times, 30 times like that, right? Or you could do it the way I showed you. One other thing is that we're going to do some eye yoga. So let's take a fingertip, a thumb, put that at the corner and push up a little bit. So we're pushing into the eyes, the skull, right? Pushing in, you feel like numbness. All right, so now let's sit up straight, close our eyes, maintain the pressure. We're going to rotate the eyeball up as we're looking at the ceiling. Close your eyes, okay? We're going to rotate to the right as if we're looking very far. Look down to the floor, to the in and now to the left. Back to the up. Get ready? We're going to rotate the eyeball clockwise. Up, right, down, left. Up, right, down, left. Up, right, down, left. Back to up, we're going to do it counterclockwise. Left, down, right, up, left, down, right, up, left, down, right, up. Open your eyes, okay? That's called the bright eye. Now we're going to take two fingers and just kind of massage from the corner of the eye to the corner of the mouth to the chin. Second time, third time. We're going to take the index fingers and go down right here. And there, you feel that there's a cavity here. Then we're going to take a thumb, put that in the cheekbone and push up. Then we're going to come back to the index finger, put it outside of the nose and press down. And then finally, we're going to massage both sides of the neck. Okay, so we're done with the face. Now we go to the ears. And the ears we separate into three parts. The ear reflects your body. It's the shape of the fetus. Okay, so the Chinese believe that the ear has all the energy points in the rest of the body. And so we're going to divide it into three parts. We put the thumb on top, put the four fingers in the back, and just kind of massage your ear. Going to put it in the middle, the fingers in the back, massage. Then we're going to put the index fingers on the lower part and the thumb in the back and massage. Then we come back to the tip, massage, pull slightly, massage the edge to the ear loop, pull slightly, lead the thumb behind the ear loop, put the index finger outside the ear canal, and just massage. Then we're going to massage the back of the ear. The back of the ear has to do with the high blood pressure. First, we're going to massage the rim of the back of the ear from the top all the way down. Then we're going to put two fingers, one on the ear, one on the skull, massage from the top all the way down. Same thing on the other side. Massage all the way down. Massage. And then we're going to do one more for drumming the ear. Sit up straight, put the palm behind the ear. We close the ear, stretch the ear, and then get ready. 1, 2, and 3. Okay? All right. So now we're ready for tapping, and we start at the top of the head, and hopefully we have time to get to the bottom of the feet and still leave enough time for Wai Ching Ching and meditation. All right, now it's very important that when you tap the top of the head, you realize that the top of the head, this energy point called the 100 meat, is where all the yang energy come together. So it needs to be facing the top of the sky. And so the way you do that is that you stretch your spine, you open your shoulder, all the things that we used to do. You lean back, you relax. But you add one more thing, which is that you lean back the forehead so the ears on top of the shoulder and you tuck in your chin so the 100 meat, this energy point, is on top of your central nerve system. Then you take your fingers, you point them straight down, you put that in the four corners, which represents the four energy points around 100 meat. And then you focus on your fingers and we're going to tap that 30 times. Get ready? Go. Okay, always remember that when you tap, you're playing a musical instrument. All right, listen. All right. So now we move down. First is the shoulder. This is called the well on the shoulder. Then also the gate to the cloud. So we stretch your spine, open the shoulder, lean back, relax. We turn our head to the right. Okay. Then we bring out our right hand. We form the empty hand, fingers on top, palm in the front, and we listen with the left ear. We're playing the instrument now. Get ready? Go. Wake up. And then now, once again, stretch, open, relax. Left hand, turn the head to the left. Right ear, get ready, go. Wake up. Okay, now we move from this energy point, which is part of the gallbladder, and this energy point, which is part of the lung, to this energy point, which is part of the mind, part of the heart. So we actually start at the finger all the way here. And the Chinese believe that this is an important part of your mind. It's actually very important to maintain that. Now, the Western, they just say that it's muscle. It's very important that you retain your muscle as you age. And so we're going to stretch this part. We're going to be stretching this part as well when we do the Yi Jing Jing. When we pull down like this is actually pull up is very important exercise. But right now, we're just going to take the elbow, put that on top of the head, sit up straight. So you're stretching this part. Then we pinch the right side of the ear. We turn the head to the right. We bring out the right hand. We use the empty hand. We put that here. Now, this is the first two of the 8 cavity that are very famous for improving your immunity. As it turns out, there are the entry point to your what do you call limbal, okay, lymphatic system. Get ready. Pay attention now. Get ready. Go. Wake up. Okay, make sure that you understand that we're not trying to beat it into submission. We're trying to energize it. We're trying to excite it. Okay, now get ready. Put that on top. Let's sit up straight. Pinch the left ear. Rotate the head to your left. Bring out the left hand, empty hand. Play the instrument. Get ready. Go. Wake up. Okay, so now at night when you take your shower, and yes, cupping your hand, empty hand, we're energizing it, we're exciting with air. Okay, that's why it's important, right? We're so basically using air. All right. Okay, so make sure that at night when you after you take a shower, you take the blow dryer and you clear, dry this here and here and here and here and the other four in the lower part of your body. Okay, you ready? Okay, so we're gonna work on this one now. We lock the elbow, palm facing up, put that on the level of the eye. We take the right hand, empty hand, put that fingers on top and the palm on the side. Listen with your left ear. Get ready. Wake up. Continue. And then the other side. Get ready. Left hand, right ear. Wake up. Continue. Okay. All right. So that's the upper body. Now we're going to move to the lower part of the body. I put it here because later on we're going to jump, and if I don't put it here, the thing's going to fall off. All right, so now a lot of you complain that you cannot see the lower part of your um, the frame. So even though when I'm showing you the lower part, it doesn't show up, and that could be part of the problem. Could be with Insight Timer, but if you go to YouTube, you don't have that problem. Right? You see what I see then. All right, so now we're going to work on the inside. Keep in mind that inside is always yin, away from the sun. And so there are two energy points in the inside of your thigh. And this one, first one, actually is part of the splint energy line and is famous for lowering your high cholesterol. And so we start at the knee, we measure 3 points, 3 fingers, and it's just right here. Get ready? And now, again, it's all about energizing, all about exciting. So, fist is called the empty fist, all right? So you don't hold it tight. We're not trying to beat it into submission. Get ready? Go. And then the inside, that's part of the liver. Okay, now that's the inside, that's yin. Let's work on the yang. The yang is the energy line that we name after the gallbladder. And then in today's talk, I'm going to be focusing more on health. And so I'm going to talk about yin and yang, how it applies to our fight or flight versus our rest and digest. But more importantly, how it ties into our healing, which is the energetic part, with the restoration part, which is to restore the self healing. We'll talk about that in a minute. And so, whenever you energize the yang side, it's for healing. Okay. And then, so these two energy points right here. So you take your knee to the hip, you divide it in three parts. That is famous for reducing your chance of having a stroke. Get ready? Go. Second one. Okay, so all these things that we talk about, whether it's high blood pressure, cholesterol, or stroke, or heart attack, it all comes down to inflammation, right? That's why that word aging is so important now. It's a new way of understanding how our body works, all right? And now the first, we're going to have three energy points below the knee on the outside, part of the gallbladder. The first one is right here. You feel the cavity right here. Now this one, it will improve your immune system. Okay, ready? Go. In the middle. Okay, and then further down, we go all the way down to the angle. We measure 4 fingers up. Okay, ready? Go. Okay, this one is called the hanging bell. So it actually, you feel like tingling on your toes because it's sending the energy to your toes. All right, so this is the gallbladder, it's yang. This is the stomach, which is also yang. And so you close your knee, you measure from your knee, 4 fingers, you locate the bone. On the outside of the bone, it's a very important energy point that is famous for improving your digestion. But this one, together with the one that we do afterwards, later on, all four of them are also important for lowering your cholesterol. Get ready? Go. And then 4 fingers further down. Get ready? Go. Okay, so when I say lowering your cholesterol, it's not about reducing cholesterol, right? Because your body needs cholesterol. 80% of your brain is cholesterol. 80% of your cholesterol are generated from your liver. Very small amount is actually consumed from the outside. So the cholesterol in your egg yolk doesn't turn into cholesterol in your body, not really. So, but it's not about reducing cholesterol because we need it. It's about reducing the need for cholesterol in your blood vessel. In other words, by reducing the inflammation in your blood vessel. Therefore, you don't need cholesterol to repair it. Cholesterol is another symptom that the doctors treat as a disease. All right, so now we go to the bottom of the calf, which is a very important energy point. And this part here, the Western doctor would call that the second heart. And you notice that when you're tired, you want people to massage your calf because when you're tired, you need more blood flow in your body. So the calf is very important. And the way to improve your calf is to walk a dog. All right, so first we take the bottom of the calf, you put that on your right knee, and you kind of do that. It hurts, right? All right, so then you tap that 30 times. And then the other side. Now this energy point here, um, if I try to translate it, it would be like carrying the mountain, carrying the weight of the mountain, right? So the mountain is important for water, right? That's where water comes from. And the water comes from the bottom of your feet. So it's another way to explain the energy that is within you. And so this one is actually the on-off switch for the bottom of your feet. And this is the part that um, the calf is what's important for um, preventing dementia, turns out. Right? There's a great study on that. Okay, all right. So now we to the toes. This is the part that last time people said you cannot see. And I'm going to do the best I can, but most likely the lower part of the screen is blocked by Insight Timer. So I'm doing the best I can, okay? All right, so we're gonna back to the toes now. All this time, right, more than an hour now, we're from the fingers to the toe. So the thing that I want you to pay attention is just between the big toe and the second toe, and then just put your fingers in here. This is part of the liver energy line. And then before they join, you push down, there's energy point there. You notice that this one and this one is very similar. Both of them, or four of them, are good for lowering your blood pressure. Okay, now you flip up your palm, you bend back the toe, you see the tendon, you scrape the bottom of your feet, you scrape the heel, you scrape the ball area, then you massage the toes. And then you come back to the arch, you start with the bone here, you scrape the lower part of just right near the bone. That's where the splint energy goes. Then you come back to below the angle, you scrape here. That's where the kidney energy goes. And then you scrape the arch. And you come back to the angle and you do some acupressure right behind, between the angle and the Achilles heel. Then you locate the angle once again, and you locate the bone that goes all the way to the knee, and just right below the bone you scrape. This is the splint energy line. Now it's a splint and the stomach are both earth element. So the splint is very important. The earth is for transport of water and it's for transformation of the mineral. So you can imagine how important that is. So transport of water means that the splint energy have to also involve the lymph node, because it is the lymph node that returns water. So if you have any kind of inflammation, any kind of swelling, then it means that your immunity is deteriorating. Okay, so now we're done. And one last energy point: if you bend back your toes, right below the ball area is the Cushing spring. Okay, and then you bend back your toes. This energy point here is a very important energy point, represent the water element. The center of your palm is another energy point. It is represent the fire element. So you put that together, and we call this the mixing the water and fire. Get ready? Go. Continue. Okay. Now, this concept is a very intriguing one called mixing the water and fire. So imagine you have water, right? Water enables vegetation. Vegetation enables fire, right? So the kidney, the water element, is where the adrenal glands are. So if you are always excited, right, you're always suffering from anxiety, you generate a lot of stress hormone in your body. And so there's a saying in the Chinese that if the wood element is not cultivated by the water, then the water cannot pass to the heart. Complicated way of saying that if you have too much stress, you create what we call the liver fire, and then the liver is the one that cannot cultivate the heart. So that's how high blood pressure comes, right? Because you have too much stress hormone, right? All right, so the right foot, right? We don't have that much time left. And then press, flip, and then scrape, scrape the heel, scrape the ball area, massage the toes, and then scrape below the bone, scrape below on the along the arch, scrape below the ankle, and then scrape the entire arch. Come back to behind the ankle, push, and then from the ankle to the knee, the bone, scrape that, and then back to the doing off the pressure here. Bend back the toes, cup your hand, put that together, mixing the water and fire. Get ready, go. Continue. Okay, all right. So we only have 15 minutes left, but we're going to go over time, so that's okay. But at least we get to finish our Qigong exercise and start on the meditation. All right. Before we do a YJJ, we need to continue with the 8 cavities. Remember the 8 cavity? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have 2 in the back of a knee. And so those of you who have back pain, right? The back pain comes from what we call kidney deficiency. Okay, then the way to heal it is by tapping on this energy point or standing on the toes. Either way works. And so let's stand up straight, put the fingers behind, and bend the knee, tap that 30 times. Get ready? Go. Continue. Okay, remember the blow dryer, right? Always dry this part after you take a shower. And then finally is right here. Always dry this part after you take a shower. This obviously is where the lymph nodes are. And so we're gonna excite it, energize it, but not trying to beat it. So we take our fist like this, put it right here very gently, 30 times. Okay, now we're getting ready for Yi Jing Jing. Just want to make sure that Martha says something. Okay, good. Thank you, Martha. All right, so Yi Jing Jing exercise, if you want to look at it from a modern perspective, it's a very important exercise to maintain your health as you age because it combines stretching, it combines cardio, and then it combines muscle building. All right. Whereas in the Chinese perspective, is really about clearing the channels and not just the 12 secondary, but the primary as well. But it's very important to understand the difference between yin and yang. Yang is energetic, so this is a particularly energetic exercise. Whereas last week and then the next week is much more restorative exercise. So whenever you energize, you need to spend equal time in restorative. All right. Otherwise, you generate too much stress hormone, which is good because you need it to heal, to reduce inflammation. That's why we do it. But if you don't restore it, that means that you have too much of a good thing and you develop what's called cortisone resistance, which is why we are suffering from inflammation in the first place. All right. So when I after each exercise, I tell you to come back and focus on your breath. You take that seriously. Okay. All right. So first, we're gonna pay attention to the bottom of the feet. You stand firmly on the ground. Then you rotate the toes inward and you lower your knee. Right. In some quarter, this is called a goat stand. I've never seen a goat stand like this, but I'll take the word for it. But the key is that you're energizing the calf by lowering your knee, by not locking it. Then you take your shoulder, you lift it up, you open it, and then you relax. Then you take your forehead, you lean back, and you tuck in your chin. The important is that you form a straight line on your spine because the first form is called spirit boosting palm. You're sending a shock wave through the core, right? Then you take your palm, the energy point here, face down, but you bring it a little bit back, bring it a little bit back. Now, when I say go, don't listen to me. Instead, you focus on the center of your palm, mind, body together. That's what yoga means. And you push, send the shockwave through the core, and then wait for it to come back. Get ready? Open your shoulder. Go. Now come back, focusing on your breath. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. One breath. Let's do a second breath. And when you finish, check the inside your mouth, see if you have any saliva. If your mouth is dry, that means you are stuck on the fight or flight. The whole point of paying attention to your breath is to return to the rest and digest. If you actually focus on your breath, like I told you, you should have saliva. That's why part of the exercise, you have to swallow the saliva. Get ready, second time, go. Come back to the breath, one breath at a time. Third time, open your shoulder, go. Back to the breath, one breath at a time. The second one is called pointing the one tail. Pointing means you come back to the thumb. You point your thumb to the hip. That's the energy point called one tail. You take your fingers, you roll up your four fingers. Then you imagine hanging two buckets of water on your thumb and you lift it up with your thumb. You lift it up as hard as you can. Remember, I told you it's very energetic exercise. Then you relax the fingers without lowering them, and then you come back to the yin. You come back to focusing on your breath, one breath at a time. Second time, relax, back to the breath. One last time, and then relax the fingers, lower your hand, back to the breath. Chat your inside your mouth. Then we call it beginner's mind, which is the baby's mind. This is what the baby does. Okay, remember I told you the fingers and the brain? All right, so now you take your thumb, you fold it across your palm, then you roll it up, your fingers, and you squeeze your fist as hard as you can. Then you open your palm, relax, back to the breath. After 2 breaths, second time, squeeze as hard as you can. One last time, squeeze as hard as you can. Lower your hand, completely relax, focusing on your breath. Check the inside of your mouth. And if the inside of your mouth is dry and there's nothing you can do to make it wet, well, then put the tip of your tongue behind your teeth, where the teeth meets the roof of your mouth, and close your mouth. You will get saliva. And then now we take a deep breath, put your fists together below the belly button. Take a deep breath, breathe in. And then relax. Now we're going to bring our elbows together. This is the part of the exercise where we stretch the back, right? Stretch the back. Open up all the energy points in the back. Get ready? Stretch. And then relax. Back to the breath. Second time, stretch. Back to the breath. One last time. Back to the breath. Okay, the next one is called fists above the head. You bring your fist above the head. You open your fingers. You open your shoulder. You roll your fist one joint, two joint, lock it with your thumb. And it says you're squeezing blood into your heart. This is very cardio. And you just squeeze. And then you let go. Let the blood come back to the fingertips. Back to the breathing. After 2 breaths, second time, you squeeze. And then you open your palm. Let the blood come back to the fingers. And then one last time, you squeeze. And then relax. Okay, now the next one is called stabbing the shoulder. You open your shoulder. You grab the daggers. You point the daggers onto the top of your shoulder. Now this is also very cardio, because you will notice that in the back of your neck, where the what I call the wind of pond of wind, it's very tight. So, but you can only do that if you open your shoulder and you point the dagger onto your shoulder and you stab. Okay, so it's like you're blocking the two arteries, and then you relax, let the blood come back, right? So once again, it's very cardio. Second time, now make sure you open the shoulder, make sure you point the dagger onto the shoulder, and you stab. You feel the tightness in the back of your neck, as if you're putting restrictions on your blood flow. And then you go, relax, let the blood come back. You're actually putting your heart under stress, exercising the heart. One last time, stab, and then relax. Now, the next one is called a cross, but many times we think we are punching, we're not. Imagine you have 2 mountains or 2 walls or 2 trees or whatever, and you open your arm like this. Now, this is called a cross, but there's a Chinese word called bang. Bang means avalanche. So imagine you're pushing so hard, you're causing an avalanche, not punching, okay? And basically you're stretching the upper part of your arm called the triple woman. So first, you rotate your wrist, remember all the energy points on the wrist. Then you roll up your fist, you take a deep breath, you hold your breath, and then you say bang. Completely relax. Second time. Rotate your wrist, roll your fist, take a deep breath, hold your breath. Bang. One last time. Bang. Relax. Back to the breathing. Front hanging, same thing, lock your elbow. What's in front of you? Take a deep breath, push, and then relax. Second time, and then relax. One last time, and then relax. Okay, so we're done stretching, we're done cardio. Now it's muscle building. So you lift up your hand, you look up, you grab the bar, and you pull yourself up as hard as you can, and then relax, right? You actually using this muscle right here. Second time, relax. One last time, and then relax. The next one is the same thing, but now it's this muscle. And so this is important for your lung and your heart too. And so I call this ripping the yellow page. Rip. Relax. Second time. Rip. Relax. One last time. And relax. Swallow. Collect all your saliva. Swallow. All the way down. Check your goat stand. Make sure you're not locking your knee. Straighten up your back. The next three exercises is important for your kidney. Back the hand touching without locking the knee. Go straight down. Lock your elbow, looking straight at the floor. One time, squeeze your fist, back of the hand touching, focusing on your breathing. Make sure your back is straight. Second time. One last time. Okay, you're ready for the jump, right? We're not really jumping as much as we're pushing. In that case, flip your hand, focus on the center of your palm, take a deep breath without locking your knee. Breathe out, breathe in, palm facing forward, lower your knees, see that big rock in front of you, push. Take a deep breath, and then relax and breathe out. Now we need to do meditation. Okay, so over time, maybe about 8 minutes or so. And so let's come back to a sitting posture. The sitting posture is slightly different from those of the yogis, and it's what the Chinese refine. And there's only one refinement, which is after you straighten out your back, you lean forward first, then you lean back, holding your hip in place. As you lean back, you feel the pressure on both sides of your kidney, and then you relax. Then you lift up your shoulder, you open your shoulder, and you relax. You lean back the forehead so the ears on top of the shoulder, and then you tuck in your chin so the top of the head is on top of your central nervous system. You close your eyes, but you relax the eyelids so you actually see some light. Then you take the tip of the tongue and you put it behind here, which is where the teeth meets the roof of your mouth. This one does three things. It turns on the salivary gland, forces you into the rest and digest. It connects the electrical path that starts with the spine, come to the top, and then come back down to the belly button. And finally, it makes sure that if you have saliva, it flows into your stomach and not into your air passage. After you sit properly, we start with abdominal breathing. We focus on the belly button. As soon as we know that we're breathing in, we relax the stomach, push the belly button forward, lower the diaphragm. As soon as we know that we're breathing out, we do the opposite, just that we bring back the belly button, collapse the stomach, pushes the diaphragm up. Okay, but I want you to do this without stress. So just imagine you're using your mind and let the body follow. If you let your mind and ask your mind, use your mind to bring your belly button forward, then the body will follow. Your body listens to you. Okay, so the only thing I don't want you to do here is I don't want you to be stressed about this. Just relax. When you breathe in, open the stomach. When you breathe out, close the stomach. Now, for those of you who have a hard time doing this, that's why you need to come to our other classes, the one before last week and the one following, where we learn how to do breathing with the stomach, or the pranayama, practice of stomach lower abdomen breathing. Okay, all right, let's just sit for 3 minutes. Relax. Breathe in, open the stomach. Breathe out, close the stomach. Okay, so that was just a basic exercise to um, learn how to breathe with your diaphragm using your lower abdomen. Now that we have done that, which by itself is very good for you, but now we have done that, then we're gonna let go of the belly button and just continue to observe our breathing. You notice that when you breathe in now, because now that you know where you pay attention, your stomach actually opens slightly, and when you breathe out, the stomach collapses slightly. So maintain that feeling. Come back to the posture, stretch your spine towards the ceiling, lean forward, and then lean back while locking your hip. Lean back all the way back, and then relax the spine, open the shoulder, relax the shoulder. Make sure that the forehead is leaned back, that the chin is tucked in. Make sure your eyelids are relaxed, and the tip of the tongue is touching the roof of your mouth, where the teeth meets the roof of your mouth. Now I want you to focus on the lower part of your spine. And as soon as you breathe in, your stomach opens. I want you to start from the bottom of the spine and walk up along the spine to the top of your head. As you do that, I want you to stretch that spine. And then when you get to the top of the head, you wait for your body to breathe out. Then you come back from the front, past the forehead, along the bridge of your nose, through your tongue, all the way down to your belly button. As you do that, I want you to lean back, upper torso, and then relax. When you breathe in, go up again, stretch the spine. When you come down, lean back and relax. Because we're using a diaphragm, sometimes we call that balloon breathing, as if there's a balloon inside our stomach. You can imagine taking that balloon as if it's the pearl that you put in front of the dragon whenever you go to see dragon dance, like they did a week ago in Chinatown. They always have someone holding a pearl, basically a pillow or a ball that is made out of soft material. So you imagine that as you breathe in, you open your stomach, the pearl is inside your stomach, and you just kind of throw it up the spine as you stretch your spine as you breathe in, but don't let it stop at the top of the head. This is called a wandering dragon. The pearl is your energy, the dragon is your mind. The mind needs to be free. So imagine you throw up the pillow above the head, let the dragons enter into that cloud above your head. And then when you breathe out, the dragon will come back as if the ball, the pearl is coming back down again, coming back down all the way to your stomach. And pretty soon you feel that your head is very cool and your stomach is very warm. You are doing what is called mixing the water and fire. The water element is from your kidney, that's why you hold pressure on the kidney. And the fire element is your heart. You're mixing water and fire. You feel lots of saliva in your mouth. You feel the head is cool. And then when you come down, you feel that your stomach is very warm, as if that is the cage for the dragon. Just one up and one down. Let's sit for 5 minutes. Make sure when you breathe in, you stretch the spine. You can feel the energy rising within you. That's the energetic part, that's the yang part. And then when it comes down, you relax, you lean back. That's the yin part. That's where you restore the balance. So when you go up, you're entering into fight or flight. The body releases stress hormone, release its natural steroid to reduce inflammation. And when you come down, you relax. It restores that sensitivity to the steroid, maintaining the balance. That's why this is a longevity exercise. Fundamentally, it restores your self healing. Okay, open your eyes in the class. All right. So I'll see you all next week. Okay. So if you like, you can stay for the Dharma talk. But if you don't have time, you leave early, or if you're not interested, it's okay. No problem. And but if you want to catch up, we'll put the recording on YouTube and Facebook. All right. So let's do the Dharma talk today. So for the last 2 months or so, I started to have this Dharma talk. We were doing it from the perspective of a practicing Buddhist, basically using the Buddha's teaching and how it applies to our daily life, in particular in a period of turmoil and chaos as we are in now. And I talk about how there's the 37 factors of enlightenment that summarizes all the teaching of Buddha as it applies to the technology, the techniques, and not just the theory. And the 37 factors of enlightenment is actually made up of seven overlapping pieces. So not all these 37s are unique. It just, when you take these seven pieces, which overlaps anyway, and you take them individually, then there is 37. And one of the important pieces is called the five faculties, starting with faith, diligence, mindfulness, and then something called samadhi, which is one point concentration. That's what the yogis practice. That's what the Buddhists practice, and then ultimately achieving what is called panya, and that's um, intelligence, right? That's the wisdom. Okay, and I said that since the election, it's important that we self-select and we kind of treat this as our sanctuary and uh, and try to understand what it takes to survive the next 2 years. Hopefully, only the 2 years. I suspect that after 2 years, the opposing party will take control of the Congress like they always do, and then we'll figure out what to do after that. But in any case, um, the it's important to understand wisdom means the way of protecting ourselves, bring out the warrior quality in us. That's why I use Shambhala warriors, which has the dual weapons of wisdom and compassion. Now, we talk a great deal about wisdom because that's the end goal of the five faculties. I also talk about the five faculties, the first three being the foundation. The foundations are faith, which could also mean confidence. Uh, in this case, mindfulness just means anchoring your mind on your body, anchor your mind on your breath. And then in between, the bridge is called diligence, one breath at a time, one breath at a time. And forming that foundation is obviously built for a spiritual practice that gives us the wisdom. And the importance of that is very clear. The importance of that is very clear. It's been many, many years. If you look back on how long this has been going on, we finally come to a point in time where slightly more than half of our fellow countrymen decided that they need a new leadership. And this new leadership not only consists of our executive branch, but also our judicial branch, but also our um, legislative branch, all three branches, plus the media. And so the only way that we could fight back to have a chance of fighting back is not let them control our emotion. If you let them control emotions and you fight anger with anger, fear with fear, then there's no way that we could recover from this. Or even if you recover, we just become one of them. There's no point to it then. So wisdom is about protecting yourself. Wisdom is about not following the negative energy. But where does the compassion come from? How do we practice compassion? we do practice compassion here, just that it's not so obvious. It's not so obvious because the compassion starts with loving kindness for oneself. And once again, that triangle is also there to practice compassion because first you have to have faith. You have to have confidence that you're spending an hour and a half together with me every Saturday that is worthwhile, that is actually helping you physically, mentally, and spiritually. So it starts with faith. It starts with faith, and then it starts with mindfulness. That this is a sanctuary. This is a time where you can actually focus inward, focus on your body and your mind, and and then it requires that third piece, which is like the cement in the concrete that has four or three components. You need the cement that kind of glue it all together, and that's the diligence, the determinations to do this one step at a time. So it turns out that everything that we do here is not just for our spiritual health, it is also for physical health. So this sets a stage for what I really want to talk about today, which is how do we overcome the problem that we have, the physical problem that we have, which really has to do with inflammation. All the diseases that are treated separately, things like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, dementia, stroke, and heart attack, and all the problem with the immune system, autoimmune system, with the they are all tied to inflammation. So let me take back a step, and we always try to forget the worst part of our experience, and one of the worst part of our experience is COVID, which we started in the early part of 2020, and it lasted 3.5 years or so. And during that time, it turns out that unfortunately, it started when Trump was president, and but anyway, excuse me, sorry about that. And when you look back, it was a very tragic event because 1.1 million of our fellow citizens have died from this disease, this COVID, right? Almost all of them are elderlies, and if or not, but almost all of them have some kind of underlying disease that are being treated by Western medicine. Almost all of them have high blood pressure. Since almost all of them are elderlies, which means that they were covered by Medicare, which means that they were sufficiently medicated so that the symptom was under control, but yet they had no immunity. Today, more than half of adult populations suffer from high blood pressure, what we call hypertension. Over 95% of those who suffer from hypertension are called essential hypertension, which means that the doctor actually don't know the cause of the high blood pressure. But they treat it anyway by giving the patient medicine to relieve them of the symptom. But high blood pressure is not the disease, it's just a symptom. You cannot treat it as a disease because then it's as if you're eliminating the only witness to the crime. Now, it turns out that high cholesterol is also not a disease. I talk about this many times. High cholesterol is your body's way of healing itself by putting out cholesterol to repair the damage in your blood vessel. Once again, due to inflammation. Okay? So these days, there's enough evidence to say that we don't take high blood pressure medicine because there are some side effects such as dementia, because it doesn't deliver cholesterol into your brain. Turns out that diabetes is the same thing too. My father suffered from diabetes. I watched him going from type 2 to type 1. Type 2 means that his his glands are fine. He has enough chemical in his body, enough to. It's just that he has a bad diet, bad eating pattern, so it generates too much um, um, hormone in his body, and it overwhelm his body. But yet he's treated like as if he's a type 1. Medicine after medicine, eventually his gland give up, and he has to take insulin. Same thing. So I think we're not going to change everyone. Can't even change my family about their viewpoints. Definitely not the Western doctor. But there's enough evidence here to say that this is really an indictment on our healthcare system. That our healthcare system, this industrial complex, is not there for your health. It's not a healthcare. It's sickness care, right? Their job is to use chemical to reduce your symptom as opposed to healing you. On the other hand, economics speaks, there are more and more of us entering into retirement age. So our medical care system, our sickness care system is overwhelmed by the baby boomers. Now, by definition, the baby boomers start after World War II, end of World War II, which is, I was born about 9 years after that. I was born in 1956. So I'm actually right in the middle of the baby boomers. And I have many siblings, and I have siblings and many cousins and friends who are many years younger than me, about 5 to 7 years younger than me. They're at the beginning of the baby boomers. I see them as sick people, that they might have another 20 years to live. That's the lifespan, but their health span is already done. Their health span is already done. They're not healthy. That's because their body is inflaming from their lifestyle, from the food, from their environment, from the mental state, and from the way they're being treated. So there is a more and more understanding of how these lifestyle diseases are tied to our what's called the chronic inflammation. And chronic inflammation is tied to chronic stress. And so more and more people are studying that because it's an economic issue now. It's an economic issue that we're draining our resources. And there's a term that is being used, and I mentioned that before. It's called inflamm aging. That as you age, the difference between the one that are healthy versus the one that are really not healthy, but then they're just that their sickness is under control, has to do with inflammation. And the term is called inflamm aging. I like that. So let's talk about why chronic inflammation and chronic stress are tied together. Let's look at us human beings as a species. And people say that we were once a monkey. And people say that's not true. God didn't create you as a monkey, they created you as Adam and Eve. I wouldn't say that humans are monkeys. I just say that once upon a time we shared the same ancestor. I think that is true. And it's about 4 million years ago that we start to diverge. Human beings become humans and monkeys remain monkeys. And I mentioned that that has to do with our use of the thumb. When we recognize that we know how to use the thumb, we then know how to hold on to something, then we can break a branch off the tree and use it as a defense weapon. That all started about 4 million years ago. That's when we start to walk down the tree. We still walk on all four, but at least we got down from the tree because we know how to defend ourselves with the stick because we know how to use the thumb. That's about 4 million years ago. So somewhere between 1.5 to 2.5 million years ago, not only do we know how to break a branch off the tree to use it as a weapon, we start to know how to use simple weapons like a stone to break um, coconuts, something like that. And then about a little less than 2 million years ago, we started to walk upright, called the Homo erectus. And we start to learn how to use fire, how to control fire. So we know how to cook meat, we know how to consume animal fat. And it's a true fact that when you consume animal fat, there's more available to grow your brain. That is not to say that vegetarians don't grow their brain, but clearly, when you can digest the food that you eat, whether it's meat or vegetable, and you actually learn how to cook them, they become more digestible. And that's when our brain developed. That started with Homo erectus. And then only about 300,000 years ago, we are called Homo sapiens. That's really when we started to develop our advanced culture. Now, when we come back to baby boomers, what the baby boomers are trying to do with the industrialization is that we're trying to outsmart our evolution, which took millions of years. So in the last 60 years, maybe a little bit more than 60 since World War II, we completely changed our lifestyle. We don't live according to the sun anymore because we have electricity. We can stay up all night. And nowadays, we definitely stay up all night. We got the iPhones and iPad and all that. Man, we work from home. We don't live according to the sun. We forgot that how important the sun is to our evolution. So if you go back to the last 4 million years before World War II, before the end of World War II, we used to live in two states. We either live inside a cave or we live outside of the cave. When we're inside the cave, that's when we feel safe. And when we live outside the cave, that's when we feel um, danger. When we're inside the cave, we're away from the sun. When we're outside the cave, we're under the sun. So the body developed these two systems in the Chinese called the yin and the yang. And when you're outside the cave, you're under danger, your body enters into fight or flight. And when you're inside the cave, you relax, your body enters into the rest and digest. So all the exercise that we do here when we talk about yin and yang is exactly that. That when we work on the yang side, we're energizing our sympathetic nerve. And when we work on the yin side, away from the sun, shadow of the sun, we're working on the parasympathetic side. Sympathetic is fight or flight, parasympathetic is rest and digest. That's our evolution. That is our evolution. So what happens when you're in fight or flight? What happens when you are in the sympathetic side? Your adrenal gland releases stress hormone. It's a signal that tells you that you are either chasing an animal or you're being chased by the animal. Your body react accordingly to prepare for fight or flight. Your breath changes. You're breathing faster. Your heartbeat changes. You're beating faster. Your muscle tense up. Your legs started to use this muscle, started locking. That's why when we do the I Ching Ching, we unlock our knee, right? Relax the legs. Your stomach start to turn, and your pupils start to dilate, and your body becomes flush with blood. The other signal that it does is that it turns off your saliva gland because the saliva is an enzyme. Enzyme activates digestion, immunity, and reproduction. You don't need that. When you're being chased by a lion, who cares? So when you're in the fight or flight, you're in one state. You put out all these stress hormones, one of which is called cortisol, which is a steroid. It's there to remove any inflammation in your body as you run. But what happens if you stay in that state for a long time? You develop high blood pressure, you become obese because the system keep pumping glucose into your bloodstream. You have an impaired immune system. You develop either anxiety or depression, and you cannot sleep. Always sleep, right? Because you're being chased by a lion. But if you were living according to the sun and you're not trying to, um, and you're not trying to outsmart your evolution, you have a chance to return to the rest and digest when you get home, if you get home, right? But when you do get home, you see your wife and your kids, and that's the time to rest and digest and reproduction. So that's when you everything reverse itself, right? You start to have a resting heartbeat, right? That's why sometimes I check my watch and say, what is my resting heartbeat? That's a very simple indication to say that I'm returning to rest and digest. Your metabolics returns to its normal. You're not putting out too much hormone. You're not putting too much glucose, right? Your digestions come back. You start to urinate. You don't have constipation anymore. And basically your body returns to a stable state. So the whole key to our health is to maintain that balance. That's it. Don't try to outsmart it. Don't try to think that you can outsmart it by staying one or the other. It's all about maintaining that balance. Because if you didn't have that balance, what happens is that your body puts out so much cortisol, thinking that you need it to reduce inflammation, that your body develop what's called cortisol resistance. It is as if someone rang the bell. It rings it once, rings it twice, rings it three times, and you say, forget it. I'm not listening to that. It's just like my German Shepherd. Imagine that you're just constantly banging at the door. Eventually you give up. It says, that's nothing. That's what happens to the body when you have so much cortisol in your body that it just give up. And when you give up, then you're losing that one ability that you have to self-heal. And your body started to inflame. You started to have carpal tunnel, frozen shoulder. You go to the doctor, they give you more cortisol because you're not sensitive to the one you already have. So chronic stress leads to chronic inflammation because you lose that ability to self-heal. So all the exercise here, whether it's this week or next week, is really just to maintain that balance between the yin and the yang so that you know how to enter into the energetic state, let your body heal itself. In Chinese, we call clearing the qi channel. And at the same time, you know how to come back to the restorative, let the body restore its sensitivity to the hormone, maintaining the self-healing capability of your body. The Chinese call it restoration. That's it, right? That's it. That's the whole. That's it. That there's nothing more. And so, for example, after we do all the exercise, we come back, we sit, and it's a simple exercise. It's just energizing yin and yang, yin and yang. So when you breathe in, you open your stomach, you pull down your diaphragm. The diaphragm is a very important membrane. It takes the body into the fight or flight, releasing stress hormone. And then when you breathe out, you relax the stomach, you you push up the diaphragm. It takes the body into the rest and digest. So just by doing that, already is very healthy for you. That's why all practices, whether it is yogi, tai chi, qigong, or whatever you do, Always come back to abdominal breathing. Always come back because it just cycles you back and forth, cycles you back and forth. We restore the elasticity, maintaining that balance. On one hand, heal. On the other hand, restore the healing power. That's it. And then we take it further by the next one, which is we stretch our spine, right? Stretching the spine is very important. The spine is the factory for the bone marrow. And so you want to take that energy through the spine all the way to the top of the head, as if you deliver these essential elements into your brain, maintaining the brain health, working on the membrane between the left brain and the right brain. And then when you come back, that's the restoration. So the scientists start to understand that. They started to measure that, and they use that one metric called the heart rate variability, HRV. You can look it up. You can look it up. They find out that when you breathe in, your heart rate increases, and when you breathe out, your heart rate decreases. The difference is in milliseconds, but they can measure it. And they correlate that with the deposit on your brain for those who suffer from dementia. And it turns out that abdominal breathing reverses that. So they're very excited. Okay, so in summary, mindfulness, meaning that anchoring your mind internally, not external, internally on your body or your breath, has tremendous benefit, not only in your spiritual health, because you're not following the negative energy anymore, but have tremendous physical benefit in the physical health as well, because it allows you to maintain that balance. Okay, so this is a little bit different. We're coming back to where we started, which is really focusing on ourselves, focusing on our health, focusing on our physical health, our mental health, and spiritual health, because we have a long fight ahead of us, a long fight. All right, so I'll see you all next week. Namaste. May you all be blessed with good health, with peace, and with happiness. Bye-bye. See you next week. Okay. 下個星期見。拜拜。